The Vancouver Island flag flew in front of the BC legislature in May to mark its 150th birthday, but a new political party would have it remain there permanently as a symbol of a sovereign Vancouver Island in Canada's 11th province.
I think we'd be much better off. Over time, many years, we've been largely ignored by both the provincial and the federal government. So by forming our own party, we'll have much more clout.
Former Progressive Conservative MP Robin Richardson is leading the Vancouver Island Party and says he hopes to win 2 or 3 seats in next year's provincial election, forming a balance of power between the Liberals and NDP.
And in return for our support, then we'd ask them to conduct a referendum in 2021, which is the next provincial, just on the island. And the referendum would be, are you in favour of Vancouver Island becoming a province of Canada? Yes or no?
Vancouver Island initially was its own colony for 17 years before Britain merged it with the mainland colony of British Columbia in 1866. Historian John Adams says it was a forced merger.
And there was definitely no referendum. People were not asked what their opinions were. And in fact, the people in Victoria were not so thrilled with this. And James Douglas, who had then retired as governor, wrote in his daughter's diary, in fact, that the day of the merger in November 1866 was a sad and melancholy event.
It's not a new concept. Several fringe groups have emerged over the years with the same idea. People in Victoria have mixed reactions.
My instinct is, yeah, I probably would.
How come?
Sounds interesting. Different thoughts.
I know we do have our own little thing going on. We are a special little island, but no, I wouldn't want that. No, I wouldn't want that.
No.
Why?
Because we're too dependent on the income and revenue from the rest of British Columbia.
That's a thought shared by the Premier.
Well, I tell you, if they leave British Columbia, they're not going to be getting any of those LNG revenues.
Richardson says the next step is selecting qualified candidates for all of Vancouver Island's 14 ridings.
So we want to know what you think about this. Should Vancouver Island become a separate province? Here's what some of you had to say in Victoria.
Nah, it's not a good idea. Why?
I think so, yep. I think it's got its own identity, and I think it's absolutely cool. It should, yes.
No, it's always been in British Columbia. Keep it that way.
Pretty far removed from anything we kind of need. Yes, we have different wants and needs than a lot of different places in British Columbia, but I think that we're better together.
And here are some comments from social media. Kevin tweets, worst idea I've heard in a while. Jane posts, great idea. We have the population and the resources to be self-sustaining. And Gail writes, no, think of how many jobs the BC government provides to the island, and especially Victoria. And here are our web poll results. 38% say, yeah, Vancouver Island should become a separate province, but the majority, 62%, say no. And that's tonight's Checkpoint.